Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 11th, 2021 at approximately 5:27 p.m. PST. Things have been, to say the least, a little on the busy side today. But with that in mind, we managed to get enough. What did we get? I guess about 40 pages of the proofreading of the final edit on the end of an epic done. Got another probably 6 or 7 pages done in other books that I'm working on, and managed to get I had mentioned that we were going to be making lunchbox muffins today, which is just a nice little recipe that works great for quick meals. These are just little things. They're just the run-of-the-mill odds and ends that I end up doing. Plus, I've been adding storylines to the Yldrbacian Chronicles. These are, like I said, this list, where did I put it? Oh, sure, I lost it. Well, now I gotta go get it. So, I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back. Okay, didn't exactly put it elsewhere. What happened was I went in and put my list of chores on the tasks on the other side. Okay, on the other side, because I usually have it over on my right. I moved it over here onto my left. Again, for exactly the same reason I was mentioning. Because of the fact that my left arm hasn't been working, the only way to make it work is to put the effort into making it work. Give the left arm more work to do, it will get better coordination. Okay, so what I've done, and it will take a lot longer for me to get it written, but it does mean that I will get my writing back up with my left arm. Because if I desire my left arm to get back to work, then it's going to have to do the work to make it happen. It's like you. If you've got something in your life you're not content with that isn't working as well as you'd like, it's up to you to do the work. Now, talk to a therapist, to a physiotherapist, to an exercise specialist, to a financial advisor, whoever. If something in your life is not working right, talk to somebody that has successfully done it and get their pointers on how you might be able to train and change your life. Okay. For me, it's just a little bit of a challenge on occasion. Okay, but things are happening. Would you look at that? Now, again, I am on shift right now. So if where did the phone go? There it is. If this phone rings, then I put this on pause for a bit so I can deal with the clients. But like I said, the reason I came back, the whole reason for doing this, is to spread the word to everybody that working together, regardless of your status in life, we can change this world for the better for most people. Now, there are certainly going to be those people, those few of you out there that go, but I want to make other people miserable because it makes me feel better. And there is invariably exceptions to every rule. Now, I'm a firm believer that 90 to 95% of you are decent people trying to make decent choices, trying to make this world a better world for virtually everybody. It's going to take a while. Okay, even if we only go back 2,000 years. Okay, it has taken 2,000 years to go from what we had to what we've got. And I hate to tell you this, but in my opinion, we've really botched it. Okay, there is so much greed, so much debauchery, so much abuse going on, and so much fear that is not only being propagated by the individuals, as in people just like you, okay, that are going and let's spread all this negative news that's going on, and we'll just bypass the things for celebration, like who got married, who helped open what beneficial event, who smiled at somebody on the street. Okay, I was watching somebody the other day. I was out for a walk at my local park. And I watched a guy taking a dog for a walk. And I'll use the term taking him for a walk really loosely. Because the guy was dragging the dog along and wouldn't even give it time to to actually, do its business or talk to the other dogs. Most of the people out there, they'll walk along at whatever pace the dog has to go, right? They'll let the dog stop. They'll let them talk to their friends. They'll let them check their own mail, and you guys get to figure that one out. Okay, but most people are really decent people. Heck, most of the dogs there I know by name more than I know the people by name. But it boils down to this. Working together, we can make this world a better place. Now, I am not suggesting, it's funny, I talk to many different people from many different religions, and they go, ours is the only true religion. Our God created everything, but ours is the only true religion because mankind created everything else. Sorry, you get one of two options. Either your God created everything, or he didn't. Your pick. But you can't have it both ways. Now, you can try and have it both ways, but good luck with that. From my standpoint, it's real simple. Okay. I've managed to get things done like I had aimed it with Trianglish. Just go check something here while I'm talking to you. Book 11, there we are. Now, right now, I am on page 74, and I only started about a month ago, okay, on doing this, roughly, going into final edit. Now, I set a goal for myself to do 5 pages a week. Well, roughly a month ago would make it 4 weeks. Only I'm sitting here looking right now, and I've gone through 74 pages. Okay, that's a little more than 5 a week. Okay, like as in, I don't know, a month being 4 weeks. I'm looking at, math is really slow today, obviously. But if I'm looking at that, I'm about 4 months ahead of myself. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm making good headway to the goal that I've got of getting this one specific book out by the end of the year. Again, what I did was I simply laid out a rule for myself, a goal for myself, and went, this is the guideline that I'm working with. That's my bottom line. That reminds me, I've got to check my finances and make sure that my bills are up there, or that I know what my income was for last month, to see whether or not it actually worked. Whether I stayed on track. Sad to say, as you can see by the amount of concentration, my ability to write with my left hand is still very restricted, but I only moved the paperwork over there to do it today. So now it's going to take me a little bit of time, and it'll get faster as I go. This much is pretty much the same idea as when I move my coffee. Okay. Now, pick something in your life that you're not content with. Whatever that is, doesn't matter what it is, if you're not personally content with it, that's the thing you look at modifying. Because the reality is, once you eliminate, or once you change the things you're not content with, all you're left with is the ones that you are content with. And I'll tell you, from practical experience, get things reorganized. Given a choice between this desk, and you can't see it because of the way the video is, but this desk is rather cluttered right now. It's got to be straightened out. This one, on the other hand, is clear. Net result, I'm quite happy with the way it is. Okay, this makes me feel a lot more effective, a lot calmer. Okay, one of the hardest things that you have to realize in this case is that, we can point the finger at anybody we want. You can point the finger at whatever church you're dealing with, whatever religion, whatever political party is in power or not in power, depending on how you look at it. Whatever leader of what organization is doing what. You can blame the elitists. There's all kinds of people you can blame. The reality behind it, whatever you're going through, whatever is going on in your personal life, it's your responsibility to alter it. Now, yes, you have to take into consideration everything going on out there in the world around you. Okay, I'd love to say ignoring it will go away. But if that were the case, I wouldn't have people around me that are annoying. Because if I could ignore them and they would go away, then I wouldn't have them here. Sorry, I'm not known for being subtle. But I will tell you, every tool that I offer you on this, on the journey, is a tool that I personally use. Okay, to change my life for the better. Now, energy is one of these things I've talked about multiple times. Okay, as in decide what you're content with, decide what you're not content with, set your try English on that one, shall we? This is a live recording, by the way. Meaning, when I'm done, I do not go back and edit anything. I double check to make sure I got the date right, and then I post it as is. So when you see me stumble over something, when you hear me back up over a word, okay, that is how I am. I could be in the middle of talking to you face to face, and I would still be doing the same thing. Okay, but like I'm still very old school. This is my address book that most people have on their phones right now. I still keep mine in a card file. My database. Good luck trying to hack it. Can people hack my computer? Probably. Does the government already know what I'm up to? Absolutely. Do I worry about it? Not at all. Okay. Does it annoy me that there are people out there that do this sort of thing just for whatever reason? Certainly. But there is only so much I can do. And the message I returned to bring to you was that working together, following karmic law, believe in be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. If you follow those, okay, take a look at whatever guidelines you've been living by. Whether they are household rules, whether they are religious rules, political rules, legal laws, doesn't matter. Take a look at them and compare them to those 3 laws. What I am pretty certain you will find is every one of the rules you're following fall under those 3 laws. If you happen to follow one that those 3 laws don't cover, please drop me a line at one of the contact points below this video and let me know. To the best of my knowledge, they all fit there. But if there is one that's out there, I'd love to hear about it. Okay. Now, the nice part about it is, like I said, every tool that I offer, if it applies to me, I'm using it. Okay. So one of the things I've got, like this list that I've got here, is going to slowly take place the way I need it to. Okay. And it's not that I need it to. It's a question of it taking place the way I desire it to. Because the outcome is I desire the energy in my home to run properly. Okay, and since I have decided to take 2 weeks away from the world outside, aside from doing this video, okay, I've sheared everything else off for the next couple of weeks. We had a little bit of an interesting situation, and my son who lives with me and myself have decided we're just going to hide from the world for a couple of weeks. Okay, but this is going to go on anyway. Okay, it's just one of those things that I've got to keep on top of in my eyes. Because frankly, if I don't keep on top of it, then there's a lot of things that go sideways. Okay. Not the least of which apparently is my writing, which is not good. But, like I said, this is one of the things that I've got to do if I want my left arm to come back to the way it was so I can do the things I desire to do properly. Then I've got to do the work. There is not a person out there that can do it for you. If you've got a goal, okay, like, for instance, for me, this book here. This is an age-long dream of mine to get this book published. Well, to say the least, I got it published. Okay. We're on page 74, which means approximately a fifth of the way through, roughly speaking, of final edit for the sequel to that. And I've already started writing, and I think I'm about 50 pages into writing the final book in the trilogy. Okay, these are just simply the little goals I've put together for me. And they have given me a way to stay very focused on what I'm aiming for. Now, the frightening part in my case was, I've mentioned I've got past life memories. Okay, I've also got childhood memories. And some of the childhood memories, some of the childhood traumas are finally coming to the surface, where I can actually understand how I got to where I am. Not that I can change it, I am where I am, just like you. No matter how you got to where you are right at this moment, at this very point in time. You are where you are. And it's from this point that you move things forward. But it's up to you whether you move them forward into a positive light or into a negative. So I encourage you to minimize the negative stuff, maximize the positive. Now, am I a working psychic? Yes, that's what other people call me. Myself, I've always billed myself as a spiritual guide. And as such, every tool that I offer people is one that applies to me personally. Okay, and I've been working in this field. I've been working in the consulting field on personal, spiritual, and UFO, alien technologies, abductions, that sort of thing, since I was 10. I've been a working medium since I was born. Okay, does this make me a little weird? Probably. Does it make me, sane? Who knows? I know the shrinks figure it does. But what I do know is I pay my bills, I've got a roof over my head, okay, and I'm content with that. And I've got food in my house. Okay, so I'm quite content with that. The question that you look at from your standpoint with your life, are you content with where your life is right now? If the answer is yes, this is great. Okay, if you're really content with your life the way it is, I encourage you to go out and talk to the people around you and help them understand how you did that. Because the reality is there's a lot of people that are miserable as all get out and could really use a hand in finding out where they are. Which is why I've come back to do this. Okay. Now it was the people on spacedoutradio.com that I'm on the show the first Friday of every month from 7 p.m. from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was the people from that show that really encouraged me and pushed for me for the longest time to get videos out. Okay. And, I finally got around to doing it. Now, as you can see, my coordination is pretty much shot to pieces. But I will do what I can to make it work a little bit. Okay. And I'm just, again, making a note for myself while I can. Don't ask what the handwriting looks like. You think my right-hand handwriting is bad, you should see my left. No, you probably shouldn't. But, again, it boils down to this. I've got a couple of goals set for myself that as I attain them, much like when my left shoulder came back so that I could actually pick up my own coffee cup, I was quite happy with that. Okay, it was very much a necessary thing for me. Now, I don't know how much you like coffee. It's not so much, in all fairness, it's not so much I like coffee as I don't like the taste of the water around here. Okay, but when you take a look at the way your life is going and you get the energy moving right, put the stuff out of the way that doesn't belong wherever it is. If the energy isn't running smoothly, that's when you start looking at it and going, okay, what can I change to make things a little better for me? Yes, I putter a lot. Okay, sometimes it almost feels like I'm just moving one thing to get it out of the way to put it someplace else. Which, in all fairness, quite often is the case. But then, it's either that, or I sit here and do what I do with a lot of the time, and these are a whole lot noisier. Okay, the keys. But because of the fact that I seem to fiddle a fair chunk, in case you hadn't noticed, You know, it really boils down to getting something focused, getting a goal in mind, and making it happen. Okay. Now, it was neat today when I was talking to the lass that actually helps me with the proofreading. Okay, while we were working through the one book with her, I had 9 other books open that I was currently writing in at the same time. Now, am I a multitasker? Absolutely. But it's not a question of one thing being done half baked and the other one being done less than that. It's a question of I can actually have multiple things on the go at the same time. The biggest problem I have right now is it definitely, when I go to work with my left hand, it definitely takes more concentration to make that work than it did. But even something as simple as playing with it this way, as playing with the pencil, helps with the manual dexterity that I require in order to make things happen. Okay. Now, the reality is I'm stubborn as all get out. Okay. But I do feel wholeheartedly, regardless of where you come from in life, understand whether you've got $10 million to your name or a plug nickel, you're still of the same worth as everybody else, not monetarily speaking. Now, of course, I hear these people going, money is the root of all evil. Well, in all fairness, evil is a product of fear. Okay, money is simply another barter system. Now, if you've got millions of dollars, that's fantastic. You can buy millions of dollars worth of bread. Okay, at, say, $4 a loaf. Okay, if you've only got $4, you can still buy bread. It doesn't stop you from buying anything that the other person has. It just stops you from buying as much of it. Okay, so people have to realize that the fact that you've got more money simply lets you buy more stuff. It doesn't make you a better person. Okay, and I do encourage you, if you're one of these people that is well off, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, whatever, if you've got more going for you than the guy next to you, or the girl for that matter, I encourage you to reach out to them and help them feel a little better. It's not a monetary thing, but I will tell you, if you can put a smile on somebody else's face, it will help you feel better yourself. I had a client a number of years ago that was a very, very angry, very angry lady living on the street. I worked with her for about a year, and she went from being on the street to living in a home. Yes, it was subsidized, but the fact is she was no longer living on the street. She was living in a house. She did the work, didn't ask for a handout, she just asked for guidance. So I worked with her quite consistently for about a year until she got onto her feet. And the nice part about it is I did that without spending a nickel of my own. Okay, I spent time talking to her and that was it. It does not cost a lot. The one thing I have found, and I really encourage people to put this to use, when you're outside, okay, now, right now, because COVID still has everybody's face covered with a mask for the most part, when you're outside, smiling at somebody is a little tricky for them to see it. However, saying hello, saying good morning, whether they speak English or not, the tone will get the message across in most cases. Okay, but just doing that can make somebody's day. When you go to a restaurant or you go to a grocery store, be nice to the people you're dealing with. It will come back into you in much better ways, such as a better feeling environment wherever you're hanging out most. Okay, if your normal grocery store, like I walk into my normal grocery store, and I know most of the clerks and most of the workers there, definitely by face, and most of them, quite frankly, by name. So there's a couple I'll go out of my way, I'll go over to say hello to. Not because of anything other than I know who they are. I know a little bit about them, And I know they feel better when they talk to somebody that is in a decent mood. Most of the time I'm in the mood that you're seeing me in. I do have my bad days. Like this morning when I woke up, I was having a heck of a time because some of my memories from childhood came back. Only they came back crystal clear. And that, I will tell you, caused a whole lot of consternation for me. But I dropped the whole load into my other half's lap and went, this is what I'm going through. Okay. And, my idea was real simple. Tell her what I'm going through. Of course, I braced for the other side of it. No, this is too complicated. I'm gone. What I got was she ended up spending the day, albeit via video, with me. Okay. And that little piece, just that time, helped immensely in getting my head back on straight. Like I said, I'm not perfect. These are just tools that I personally use that have helped me keep my life running right. Okay, the same applies to you. If you don't know how to get your feet on the ground, you can either drop me a line, absolutely give us a thumbs up, give us a like on this video, and subscribe to our channel, because what we are trying to do here, what we've returned to do, is give this message to the entire world, regardless of what religion you are, regardless of where your background is. Okay, every single person, every single corporeal entity has to get this message. Working together, we can make this a better world for all. Okay, well, for almost all. There are those that, unless somebody else is suffering, they're not content. Or at least that's what they think. So some people that are like that, or that don't desire to put the effort into changing their own life, are not going to be that happy. Okay, but that's their choice. And the reality is, you cannot protect somebody from themselves. Even myself. Okay, I've been able to do a lot of things. But if somebody desires to stay the way they are, that's how they're going to stay, no matter how much I tell them. Or no matter how much the doctor says, you've got to change this aspect, or you're in trouble. People have to change. They've got to get the feeling here that it's time to change before they will listen to anybody that tells them how. Okay, so I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.